We are continuing our coverage of the protests happening all across the Bay Area today. They come 5 months after protesters took over the Bay Bridge. 78 out of the 80 people charged during that protest made a deal with prosecutors to do 5 hours of community service and pay more than $4,000 in restitution to avoid criminal charges. So what will happen to the dozens of people arrested today?
KRON 4's Sarah Stinson talked with a legal expert to try to find out. She joins us now here in the studio with the story. Sarah.
38 protesters got arrested today. CHP says they were working with the district attorneys in 2 counties to file a variety of 8 charges against those arrested. Many will have to fight misdemeanors and citations in court, but some could even be charged with a felony. I spoke with a former prosecutor who says these charges make it seem like CHP really wants to crack down on protests like these.
I implore people, please, protest. We're here to protect your rights to protest, but you cannot block roadways. You cannot keep emergency personnel, whether it's ambulance or law enforcement, fire department, from getting out to assist other people.
Stern words from California Highway Patrol after arresting 38 protesters Monday. They were among hundreds of people who disrupted traffic for hours at 3 different locations in the Bay Area, all calling for immediate ceasefire in Gaza. 26 people got arrested after blocking all lanes on the Golden Gate Bridge. 7 people got arrested on I-880 in Oakland after a group locked their arms into 280-pound concrete barrels in the middle of traffic lanes. And at the 7th Street exit of I-880, hundreds of protesters walked onto the freeway. 5 people got arrested there. CHP says the protesters now face a slew of charges, the most serious being conspiracy to commit a crime and false imprisonment, which surprised legal expert Stephen Clark.
The CHP is obviously taking this very seriously. With these arrests suggesting conspiracy, that could elevate these charges to a felony.
The protesters on the Golden Gate Bridge will be prosecuted by the San Francisco District Attorney, and the protesters in the East Bay will be prosecuted by the Alameda County District Attorney. Clark says it might be hard to prove the false imprisonment charges.
Well, certainly you can argue that the protesters, by shutting down access on the bridge, you are imprisoning those drivers. At the same time, the drivers could have got out of their car and left. So I don't know that that false imprisonment charge would hold up in trial.
Clark says, as a former prosecutor, this will be overall a challenge in court when the defense argues for First Amendment rights.
I think it'll be a difficult call for the DA just how to handle these cases, because this is a very progressive community. We do respect the right of free speech, but at the same time, we don't want to see public safety jeopardized.
I reached out to both district attorneys in Alameda County and in San Francisco. It's too soon to say what charges they will pursue, but Clark believes that they will be looking into if some of the protesters from today attended and got arrested at the Bay Bridge shutdown. So that will definitely be a factor, I'm sure. And he says that could even enhance some of the charges.
You know, what's interesting is the counties all have different district attorneys who have different levels of aggressiveness on going over certain charges.
Yep.
There are stories about people who are south of Geneva Avenue near the Cow Palace, and if they do something on the San Mateo County side, they run across the street so that if they get caught, they'll be prosecuted in San Francisco where they think they can get off easier. And people who are coming into San Francisco on the Golden Gate Bridge in the morning are generally from the North Bay and Marin County. And it's interesting that San Francisco is prosecuting them instead of, because the bridge is in both counties.
Yeah,
it depends where on the bridge this took place.
It's very true. I was actually shocked it wasn't going to be in Marin County, because when we were looking at all the cameras, it looks like it was on that side. But San Francisco DA will be in charge of this. And speaking with that legal expert, he says it would be smart if the 2 counties work together, because this is hard to prove, and it's going to take a lot of effort to gather all the social media evidence and get people's faces and get video of them actually in the act. And so he says best if they work together and create a unified message against these types of protests that block traffic and emergency vehicles.
Just the coordinated effort that seemed to happen. It all happened boom, boom, boom here, Chicago. You know, it was clearly very well thought out and planned by these protesters, but that could potentially mean harsher punishment.
That's where the conspiracy will come into play, and we'll have to see if that plays out in court.
All right, Sarah.